It has been requested that I put together a short video showing what actually goes into wiring an SCR voltage controller to run a treadmill motor. So that's what this video is. Greetings, fellow DIYer, and welcome to my video. I have several videos on treadmill power supplies, one of which is putting together a quality power supply. And I go over all the parts and pieces required to put together a good power supply, but I never actually show how everything goes together. Keep in mind when working with AC current, it can kill you. So if you're not qualified to be working with AC, you should not be working with it. I currently have my power source unplugged for all the wiring, and I will not plug it in until we're ready for the test. Let's go over the components that we have here. This is a higher end SCR voltage controller. This is the main component of this build. I've got what I've in the past referred to as an AC choke, but really it's called an inductor, but it does the same thing as a choke, only for AC current. So that's what led me to calling it the wrong thing. But hereforth, it is an inductor. I have a circuit breaker, very important. This project requires you to use a bridge rectifier, and that's what converts AC current into DC current. And when a bridge rectifier fails, it typically shorts out across all four terminals. And if you do not have a circuit breaker between this and this, if this fails, you're going to burn this up. So this little piece here, highly recommended. This is the DC choke, super important. If you are running an SCR voltage controller and you choose not to run one of these, the days of your treadmill motor are numbered. This is a significant piece of equipment for having a quality power supply. This is the reverse switch. The way this works is power comes in and it goes to this terminal, and then it goes to the terminal on the opposite side. And then power flows out via the negative, this terminal, and then again the opposite terminal on the corner. The reason these crisscross is when the switch is thrown one way, the positive goes from this terminal to this terminal. When it is thrown the other way, it goes from this terminal to this terminal. And that is what allows you to reverse direction on your treadmill motor. So let's begin wiring this up. First thing we've got is 3 wires coming in from the outlet. You've got neutral, you've got hot, and you've got a ground. Now, normally for safety's sake, you're going to want to chassis ground this. So if you're putting this on a lathe, you're going to attach that to the body. For the sake of this video, I'm going to leave it unattached, but it really is a safety feature and it's super important. The body of the SCR should also be grounded to chassis. All this is done so that you have a default, so that if something is hooked up incorrectly, it's going to trip the breaker and not shock somebody. On the SCR voltage controller, AC input, neutral, neutral, AC output. So the 110 volts comes in here. These two are just common, and then the reduced voltage comes out here. So let's begin wiring all this up. We have the black coming in. It's going into a power switch. We're going to plug that guy in. So power coming in. We've got the common on that side. It plugs in right like that. All right. Now we have the common coming out. It goes into our next component, the inductor. And again, inductors and chokes are there to eliminate power spikes. So that's why we're using one between the SCR voltage controller and the bridge rectifier. So we're going to go white to white. There's our black wire coming out of the SCR voltage controller. It goes right there. Next piece, this is our circuit breaker. Again, super important. it always goes on the hot side. So we are going to plug that into the black wire. And so now we still have a black and a white. Here is this particular bridge rectifier. And on this one, it's diagonal. So this is marked as AC, which means this is AC. And this is marked as positive, which means that this one is negative. So we're going to put black one there and the white one there. The next piece of this puzzle is the choke. And what's super important about the choke is it needs to go on the positive side of the circuit. If you put it on the negative side, it's filtering the power after it has run your motor. The reason this is important, if you are using a reverse direction switch, you must put the choke before the switch. If you do not, it will only be filtering the power when it is running one direction and will not be filtering the power when it is running the other direction. So we're going to put that there to the positive. If you're not running this switch, then the choke goes to the positive on the motor and the negative connects to the other terminal on the bridge rectifier. And that is fully set up. So let's see if I have wired this correctly, and we will turn it on. And just like that, power's up, no problem. Now to wire in the reverse direction switch. Again, we're working with AC current, so always a good idea when wiring to unplug things and disconnect. So we have a positive and a negative on the switch. Positive goes to our choke, negative goes to the bridge rectifier. Then the outputs on our switch are going to be these two middle terminals. Let's plug it back in, and we will turn it on. And just like that, it powers up. You can put it in the off position using the neutral on your reverse switch. You always want to have a double pole, double throw switch that is center off. If you do not, you will end up going directly from one direction to the other, and that is extremely hard on the motor. Now this is a thread-on flywheel, and if I go the opposite direction, the flywheel is probably going to unscrew. So I'm only going to turn it on for a second. As you can see, it is going the other direction. So there it is. That is the basic setup for an SCR voltage controller. Again, power's coming in. It's going to the SCR voltage controller. From there, it's going to the circuit breaker. From the circuit breaker, it goes to the inductor. From the inductor to the bridge rectifier. From the bridge rectifier to the choke. From the choke to the direction switch, and from the direction switch to the motor. If you like what you've seen, please click like. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.